Hello everybody, I am Gummy Blocks, and if you're clicking this video, I assume you're looking to start a team next season in Banana CB's Minor Hockey League. Um, as a owner for 2 years with some success, you could say, I'm going to give you guys some tips and I'll tell you everything you need to know to start running a successful team in the league. So first off, let's go over basics. There are two tiers of BMHL, Tier 1 and Tier 2. If you are a owner, just starting to own and don't know much about players and league and how the league works, I recommend you start in Tier 2 because Tier 2 is a development league. It's meant to be for new players to learn how to play the game and understand the rules. Um, and Tier 1's just like competitive, everybody kind of knows what they're doing, and we're all trying to win a cup there. There's still Tier 2 Cup and Tier 2 awards. As much as you might want to play in Tier 1, I recommend you guys start, if you don't know much about the league, is start in Tier 2 for a season. You just kind of get used to how things are being run and how gameplay works. Now, for owning a team, anybody can do it. You will have to go through a qualification process, but majority of the time, everybody gets accepted to be an owner. Some rules about owning is your team name and logo cannot have any copyrighted content, so it can't be like a professional NHL team name. And you have to find like logos that have free commercial license use, which means you're allowed to use them, but you can't really just like make a ton of real life money off of it. So once you have your team name and jersey and logo all selected and made, you want to find some players, do some scouting. Um, just pretty much what to look for when you're scouting out players is you want to find people who you can rely on to be a good team leader, not hog ice time, Aussie. Um, look for people with good leadership, knows how to cheer up the team and give strategies and stuff when your team needs it, and players that won't break rules and get suspended, which can be hard to find nowadays. But for example, a good player for example, that you should look at is Viva Clog or Steven. He's a good player, has good latency, always cheers up the team and has good team leadership, doesn't hog ice time, and doesn't really get suspended. So, I mean, one or two suspensions are good, but just make sure they have a good reputation. Another thing you want to look at is strategies, and pretty much what I do to limit who I find is I always go to last season's stats and kind of look at the team leaders with points and goalie stats and all of that. And I take that into consideration while hosting stuff like tryouts and training camps, like some teams like the Thunderbirds do. That lets you find some new players, and even if you're a Tier 2 team, everybody's going to want opportunities to play for you if you guys have that reputation of even being good in Tier 2. So be sure you choose the right players. Players that work well together are good, so you guys can pass. Yeah, so that's what I recommend for finding players. Once you have your players all kind of selected, make sure I recommend like maybe 6 or 7 players on offensive players, and then find like 4 or 5 defensive players and 2 goalies. The reason why I wouldn't use the 16 players and 2 goalie cap that BMHL has is because you have too many players sitting on the bench. You're gonna have guys complaining about ice time when you can't fit everybody on. So I wouldn't always just stack the bench as much as you can. I'd find the most active players and have maybe like 12 people. So goalies, just make sure they know what they're doing. They can save routine shots on a consistent basis, and make sure you have a goalie and a backup, maybe a defensive or offensive player that knows how to do basic goaltending in case if your starter and your backup cannot make it to the game. Let me think about what else. Strategies. I always recommend for 4v4 games is have 2-0-2 system, which means 2 players on offense up and 2 players back at the blue line for defense. And make sure you have players on offense that have good ice awareness, so if they see the defense is struggling to clear the puck, they'll go back there and help them out. Make sure you always have players on with stamina, because some teams don't line change as much, but line changing and keeping speed on the ice is really important because it can really make a difference of if you can score or not. Say if everybody's out of stamina, even on the other team, and you guys don't line change and they do, you guys will just be left in the dust because they'll be able to just fly past you with speed as you do not have any. And the same goes for when you're on offense and they don't have stamina. You should change so you can fly past them. That's pretty much just the basics of team owning. So I think that's pretty much it. So best of luck to all of you guys who want to get your franchise started and your BMHL career started. I hope you guys do well, and yeah. This might not be the last tutorial video we have about this because I kind of just put this together in my head. That's why some things may sound unclear or just kind of all over the place. Because I didn't really write a script, it just came off of what I thought of in my mind. So if any of you have any questions of something I maybe didn't go over, or just something that's already in the video but you just have a question over it, feel free to leave a comment and I will reply to it.